Hello everyone, welcome again to my channel. So we are still talking about writing paragraph, okay, writing a paragraph. In the previous episode, we talked about topic sentences, how to write a topic sentence. In the previous episode, we said that this paragraph is not okay, is not good. Why is not good? For two reasons. Number one is that it lacks what we call linkers. No linkers are used in this paragraph. So the paragraph is not good, okay? It's not good. We need linkers to link sentence with another sentence, okay? This is number one. And number two, it lacks what we call the concluding sentence, okay? The concluding sentence. So as you can see in this paragraph, we don't have the concluding sentence, okay? We have the topic sentence, we have the supporting sentences, but the concluding sentence doesn't exist. So the paragraph is not good, is not correct 100%, okay? So in this episode, we are going to see some samples and examples of linkers, very important linkers that you have to learn by heart. Very simple ones that we use in paragraphs, okay? In paragraphs and in writing in general, okay? In writing in general, okay? All right, so the first type of linkers that you have to keep in mind is the ones that have to do with what we call order, okay? What we call order. This is number one, okay? Order, which means number one, number two, number three, number four. To order things. Number one, number two, number three, okay? So the linkers here, in this case, for example, we can say first, second, okay? First, second, third. We can have fourth, for example, if you have four, you can say fourth. And when you finish, you say finally, okay? Finally. Or we can also say lastly, the last one, okay? Finally. So these are the linking words of order, okay? First, second, third, fourth. When you finish, you say finally or lastly. So this is pattern number one, okay? Pattern number one has to do with order, okay? To order things, okay? For example, here we can say first, I do homework. Second, I revise my lessons. Third, I read books. Finally, I do research, okay? I do research, okay? All right, this is number one. This is type number one. Take another type that has to do with, for example, steps, okay? Step number one, step number two, step number three, number four, etc., okay? So here we can also say, for example, first, okay? We can say first, step number one, then, all right? First, then, after that, okay? Next. And when you finish, you say, for example, finally, finally, or you can also say lastly, for example, okay? So these are linkers of steps, okay? Of steps, first, then, okay, after that, next, etc., okay? Take, for example, another kind of linkers that have to do, for example, with what we call addition. The verb is to add. To add, for example, information or ideas, okay? All right, so for example, here we can say also, okay? Also, for instance, here we can say I do homework. Also, I revise my lessons. We can also say besides, additionally. When you finish, for example, you can write finally, okay? Finally is when you finish. So these are linkers of addition, okay? To add also, besides, and finally, okay? So other linkers, you might have others, for example, because, you can have yet, you can have and, okay, or so, etc. So these are examples of linkers that you can also use in paragraph. So this is something that you have to learn by heart. And in the paragraph, we always have such linkers, okay? Such linkers. A paragraph without such linkers, without linkers, is not a paragraph, okay? It's not a paragraph, okay? So this paragraph can be, for example, this way, okay? I do a lot of things to succeed. So this is the topic sentence, okay? First, I always do my homework. Second, I revise my lessons. Third, I read a lot of books. Finally, I do research, okay? Now here, what do you notice? Here we included linkers, okay? So number one, first, so this has to do with order, okay? Thing number one, thing number two, thing number three, thing number 4, which is the last, okay? All right, so first thing I do is I always do my homework. Second, number 2, I revise my lessons. Number three, I read a lot of books. And the last one, I do research. As you can see, these are linkers, okay? These are linkers of order, okay? Of order. However, we can also use other linkers. We can use, for example, this pattern, okay? We can use this pattern, okay? So for instance, we can say I do a lot of things to succeed in my studies. First, I always do my homework. Also, I revise my lessons. Besides, I read a lot of books. Finally, I do research, okay? I do research. So either we can use this pattern or even this pattern. Both of them will be correct, okay? Will be correct, okay? Now here, is this paragraph now complete? Correct. This paragraph is not correct, okay? So as you can see, we have the topic sentence. This is the topic sentence in blue. These ones are supporting sentences, okay? Supporting sentences. Now we still have another one, the last sentence, which is the concluding sentence. So here, for example, we can say, this is why I always get high marks, okay? Or we can also say, this is why my teachers encourage me, etc. This is the concluding sentence. Now, this paragraph is correct, okay? So here, in this paragraph, we don't have any problem. We have the topic sentence, we have the supporting sentences, and we have the concluding sentence, and we used the linkers. All right, this is example number 1, okay? Let me take another example about party, okay? So this is the topic sentence, okay? Yesterday, I had an amazing birthday party. These are the supporting sentences, okay? Supporting sentences. So we have to complete these blanks with appropriate linkers. We can use this pattern, for example. We can use also this pattern or this pattern of step, okay? All right, now you can pause, try to complete this paragraph with linkers and try to think about a concluding sentence, okay? Concluding sentence, then we do this together, okay? All right, okay. Now, yesterday I had an amazing birthday party. For example, we can use this pattern, okay? First, okay? First, I welcomed my friends, okay? I welcomed my friends, okay? Then, I blew out my candles. This is number 2, okay? Step number 2. After that, we ate cakes, just cakes. Cakes and drank cola. Last thing, we can say finally or lastly, okay? For example, here we can use lastly, right? Lastly, we listen to music, just listen to music and danced, okay? And danced, full stop. So these ones, as you can see, are 4 steps, okay, of step. Step number 1 we did, step number 2, number 3, number 4 in what? In the birthday party, okay? All right. However, we can also use, for example, this pattern, okay? We can use this pattern, okay? For example, we can say first, I welcomed my friends. Second, I blew out my candles. Third, we ate cakes and drank cola, for example. Finally or lastly, we listened to music and danced, okay? This is just an example. Now, as I told you before, this sentence lacks what we call concluding sentence. Now, what can we say as a concluding sentence for this paragraph, okay? For example, we can say, we had a great time. We can also say the party finished, for example, at 7 o'clock or at 9 o'clock, etc. So this is correct. Why is it correct? Very simply, because it contains the topic sentence, okay? It contains the supporting sentences, and it also contains the concluding sentence, okay? The concluding sentence. This is not enough, but it also contains linkers, okay? Which we call linkers, okay? All right, so this is considered as a correct paragraph, okay? This one is also correct. As you can see, the topic sentence, supporting sentences, concluding sentence, and the linkers, okay, the linking words. These are only examples. Don't forget to practice again and again. Practice the other topics, okay? So this is all for today's episode. I hope you find this easy to understand. If you have any question or suggestion, don't hesitate to let me know in a comment, okay? See you then. Have a good time and goodbye.